Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. Cory,
Man,
OG.
Need a minute, man. Whew.
This has been a crazy show, right?
Whew.
We started off very nerdy, and then we went
Very
not nerdy.
the other way. Yeah, we had fun
our,
with that.
Our friend Sunny Ray.
Shout out to Sunny Ray for being a good sport.
Yeah, man. This is, like I said, this was her idea. I ran with it. Although she didn't remember the idea.
Right.
But I've got the text messages to back it up.
Yeah, you better save those for legal documents. We'll call that Exhibit A.
Not getting rid of it. So congratulations to Jinx winning the date with Sunny Ray. Hopefully we can get some updates on that in a couple weeks.
And poor Colt has a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah.
You heard a lot of chirps today.
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
Send all of your complaints to nerdthugradio@gmail.com.
There you go.
Excellent.
That's right.
Excellent. Or Facebook.com/NerdThugRadio. You can find us there.
Or on
And
Twitter @nerdthugradio.
Yeah, anywhere. Just type in hashtag talking nerdy to you. You'll
Or
find
at
it.
Hipster Padawan if you want to just complain to me directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't complain to me because I have nothing nice to say to you.
So you said you had something funny about Disney, or not funny? But
Not funny, just
interesting?
Disney related. So Disney has gone ahead and had Marvel Entertainment sever ties with the Gazillion Entertainment, who is running Marvel Heroes.
I heard it wasn't very good.
It's a free-to-play game. So
Talked about
Isn't
it
that
a little
Diablo
bit.
clone?
yeah, essentially,
Oh.
yes. It was essentially an online Diablo clone. You played as the Marvel characters, though, which was the big separator from the DC Universe game.
Right.
The DC Universe online game is you make a character who's buddies with either the heroes or the villains of the DC Universe. That's not as fun to me as being the actual characters.
Correct.
So this was a better game. The delivery was a little weak. They fixed it, though, by just being really aggressive with the expansions, the skins, the loot. They were always putting in cool Marvel stuff, and they basically had access to the whole catalog. They had X-Men, they had Age of Apocalypse skins, they had Spider-Gwen, they had anything that would come up. They put the Phoenix 5 in there. Like, they would go out of their way to put the skins of just everything that they could to make this as complete a Marvel experience as possible. But at the end of the day, it was free to play.
So you played this?
I played it for about an hour on the PlayStation when it moved over.
After it took you 2 days to download.
Right. And I didn't enjoy playing it, but there's nothing wrong. It's just a free to play game. It wasn't that exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it because I was kind of looking for other superhero properties to compare HeroClix against, and I saw that.
Right.
And then once I realized it was just a Diablo clone, that turned me off to it.
Right. And it's not like you
What turns you on?
Wow.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
So good.
That
Dude,
was
we got that when
one
like
or two.
one.
Okay.
I rocked Deadpool.
two was just I
I
loved them
played
all.
two.
I also liked X-Men Legends. That's
Right,
what
but that's what started the yeah. Both of those were first. The first one had like every X-Men character.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The second one you could do the Age of Apocalypse stuff. That was fun. Yeah, I just it's interesting to me because this is kind of one of the first moves that you've seen totally above board, real clear that Disney basically is making a decision here. Because
Right.
Disney has been very their track record with video games isn't great. They just don't
Oh, that Lion King game on Sega was pretty dope.
right, but they just don't stay committed with studios to develop stuff properly long enough. A lot of times a game will get halfway through development and Disney starts looking at price tag and saying, "Well, it's going to cost another $200 million."
Yeah, because like, what was it? My kids were super into it. Disney Infinity.
Right.
They came out with 3 versions of it.
And by the third one, they'd added the Jedi, the superheroes.
Yeah, all kinds of things. And yeah, they just
Can you imagine what Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be like now?
crunched it.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. I mean,
It's
'cause
like
they could-
that's their only game that does well. I
right.
think.
I mean, if it ever releases.
Sure.
Well, but that's the thing is now that there's so much characters and content, I'm sure Square Enix had like 3 strokes just to even get started.
All those devs are just pulling their hair out right now.
Right, because there's just like who else?
Marvel acquired another franchise.
Right.
They can't do this.
So that's sort of my thing is Disney. How are their decisions going to affect Marvel in the future?
True.
You're starting to see it now with the now that the movies and the comic books have separated again, and by that I mean there's no creative committees. The Marvel creators don't have input on the movies. You're going to see the movies start to shift
And do their own
further
thing.
and further and further away from the comic
Which
books.
is okay with me.
Totally fine.
I'm okay with that.
What that does mean though is Marvel's going to have to redecide how it handles its creator relationships because Brian Michael Bendis, their top creator, he just went to DC Comics because his titles here weren't selling great, but then the second half of that was he was no longer getting that movie money.
Right.
So
what do you do?
DC, on the other hand, stepped up and offered the movie money, offered the comic titles that he wanted, I'm sure. They haven't said yet what he's going to work on. It's probably months before they'll announce it.
Sure.
But I'm pretty sure they gave him whatever he asked for at the table. I'm sure he had a list of 5 or 6 characters, and they said yes, yes, and yes.
You want to hear a funny story about Disney that I learned over this past week?
Yeah.
Not funny, I guess. Professional wrestling.
Okay.
Huge pastime of mine.
Correct.
I was a huge fan of what we like to call ECW.
Okay.
ECW single-handedly changed the game of sports entertainment.
Extreme Championship Wrestling definitely added an element and a degree. They were grittier.
They were, but
they were more in your face.
They definitely changed the landscape of what was going on.
Yes, they did.
So there's this really cool. I'm a WWE Network subscriber.
Okay.
Shout out, sponsor me. And so there's a lot of cool documentaries and stuff on there. And so they have this one documentary, and I'm a huge fan of ECW, by the way. So there's this one that was the untold story of ECW.
Okay.
And so it's Cory Graves of WWE, and he sits down, and he starts with Paul Heyman, and then it goes on to different guys who did what behind the scenes.
Right.
And so Paul Heyman's like, you want a story that's never been told ever? He's like, I'll tell you the story. Because he was asking him, like, how did you fund it? He said he was one yes away from Disney purchasing 49% stake in ECW. He said he knew a guy who knew a guy, and at the time, this is, I think, 96, 97 maybe, Disney was looking to go in like a side project direction.
Yes.
It probably wouldn't have been like Disney itself.
No, this actually makes perfect sense.
It would have been
I'll fill it in for you.
Yeah, it would have been a Disney side project, and Paul Heyman with ECW
I gotta look the guy's name up. Go ahead.
was on there, and he said it got all the way up to like the vice president of the time. And at the last minute, at the last meeting, he was just kind of like, I think this is just a little bit too edgy, just a little bit too hardcore for what we want to do in this new Disney thing. And he axed it. But he was like, had that happened, ECW never would have died. They would have had like all this pay-per-view. They would have been able to pay people on time. But
right.
Like, knowing what Disney is and knowing wrestling, like it's crazy to think that there was one meeting away from Disney owning the wrestling organization.
Right. And so
that's crazy, the ECW.
Right. And it doesn't fit in what we know of Disney and what we're talking about. But there was a period that I remember Michael Eisner was CEO of Disney and the chairman from 1984 until 2005. And he wasn't committed to repeating himself over and over and over again. So, okay, great. Lion King worked. But what are we going to do to make the next one better? Right. What are we going to do to make the next one bigger? And so he always pushed things. He's the guy who actually transitioned Disney from hand-drawn to digital, things of that nature. And so he sort of pioneered a lot of these big creative decisions they would make where they would do different things. And at one point, Disney acknowledged essentially that they're a children's company. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't comfortable with the idea of being one thing. He says, Disney's a brand. We can grow and do other stuff.
Whatever we want.
So Disney actually actively investigated the idea of doing like an independent studio. And this would kind of fit into that. That would have been part of that sort of, they would have funded a bunch of stuff that wasn't typical Disney stuff, and they would have rebranded it as something else. Probably would have been like a hard metallic D, right? Because it's 1998. Yeah, it would have been
big D Productions,
right? Something stupid like that.
Hard D Productions,
or like Michael, like it would be like MD produced or something, or House of Mouse or something. Like it would have been something stupid like that.
D up.
But you would have seen them produce like grittier independent. You would have seen them produce sort of like the Robert Rodriguez kind of avenue of Hollywood, where the outsider coming in. A couple of those people would have wound up doing Disney movies under quote unquote the Disney umbrella at that time.
But it'd have been different.
It would have been a crazy thing. Yeah. Think about like just that time period, what it would have looked like.
It'd been edgy.
Early 2000s.
Very edgy.
Edgy with money?
Edgy with money. How crazy would that have been?
There would have been some things.
Yeah, there would have been. We had some things go on today.
We did. We really did.
Oh, man. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode 83 of Nerd Thug Radio with our friend Sonny Ray, who was on earlier. Shout out to Jinx again for winning the day with Sonny Ray. Sorry, Roger Rabbit, but the bonus points just got to it.
Sorry, Colt.
Sorry, Hipster Padawan. Sorry, Fat
You win
Donkey.
some, you lose some.
But we're going to jump out here. Tune in this week. Thanksgiving's this week.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving. Celebrate. Eat turkey.
Everyone enjoy holidays. Enjoy the family. Be safe. Be friendly.
And as
same
always,
Nerd Thug time. Same Nerd Thug channel.